We're going to learn how to use a Rhino portable waste tank step by step, starting now. Alright guys, so this is the Rhino tank from Camco. This is the 21 gallon version. I specifically chose this one because it is a little easier to handle than say a 30 or a 40 gallon tank. And just a quick tip, whenever you buy your Rhino, it comes with all these accessories that you're going to need. So what I do is I just put them in a 5 gallon bucket, and this bucket is just for this task. So I go ahead and take my Rhino tank out of the truck, then I just drag it, and I just kind of line it up with my dump valve. All right, I don't know if y'all can see it from where y'all are at right now, but this is your blade valve. On my camper, the gray handle is for the gray water or the bath water and the kitchen sink water, and the black is for the waste out of the toilet. And what I do, a lot of people will only put their gray water or their shower water inside of the tank, and that's perfectly fine to do that. But I've done both. If you're going to do both, your waste out of your toilet and your gray water, what I suggest is to do the black tank first. Now I don't need to do that today. I let my black tank fill up first, and then I fill it in. But you have this this elbow. What this elbow is for, you can see it's got the female attachments, and that's what you put to dump this from your camper into your tank. You just attach it just like that. You can twist this if you're not comfortable with it having that loop in it, but it's really okay. And then I'm just going to pull my gray, because that's all I'm going to dump right now. You want to make sure that you take this valve off. If you don't, I'll just show you. It's going to blow up your, it's going to make it swell up, I should say. It's not going to let water flow into it. So you want to make sure that you take that off so that air can escape. I don't have a whole lot in my tank right now, but if your tank is completely full in your camper, and this camper happens to have a 30 gallon gray water tank, you just have to watch it and just make sure you don't overfill this tank. It's not so much of a big deal with the gray water because soapy water can get on the ground with no problems. But with your black tank, just be really careful, especially if you undersize it like I did. All right, so my gray tank is now completely dumped into this little portable tote. I'm gonna close that guy up. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure you close your valve, and you can just start disassembling this thing, this hose. So I'll take the hose off. These little caps come with your kit, so you want to make sure you put those in your hose, especially if you're dumping your black tank. They keep everything nice and tidy. This is the hitch attachment tool that we're going to use to pull this to the campground dump. Go ahead and take your valves off, your elbows off. Go ahead and replace your cap. You want to make sure you get that done nice and good. Make sure the cap is secure. Make sure all your caps are secure. You don't want to go about leaving a mess. And we're good to go. All right. So for this guy, what we're going to do is we're going to loop it. Go ahead and pick up your tank, and we're going to loop it just like that. All right. And then we're going to drag it to the truck. We're just going to drop it over the ball, just like that. No sweat. Forgot an important part. Don't forget your 5 gallon bucket, because you're going to need all of these things in order to get back in order to dump the water out of the tank into the campground dump. All right, let's go. In my truck, you can actually look at the camera. There's a rear view camera and you can see it, but just drive sensibly and you won't have any problems. All right, I like to go ahead and get my tank and roll it over to the dumping area. Get my 5-gallon bucket. Make sure you undo your vent. You want to make sure that's open. Make sure you go ahead and open up your tank. We're not going to use this female to female banjo fitting. We are going to use this interesting character. This is what goes down inside of the sewer dump. And so on your hose, you're going to have two sides. One's a male side. Oops. And that happens. You're just going to have to watch for it. That side's going to go in here, and usually there's some rocks or something that you can prop against against your hose. Go ahead and take this cap off as well and put this side with the female side on the tank. Make sure this is secure as can be. Just prop my rocks up on it, and then you just take your little hitch handle. You don't have to, you could use this one if you want to, but this just gives me a little bit more leverage. And you just dump. There wasn't a whole lot in my tank to begin with. I just done one and realized I didn't make the video, so yours will be a little more full. It'll be a little heavier. You may have to do multiples of these a day if you have a smaller tank like mine, which is totally fine. Whatever you need to do. So go ahead and set the tank back down. Close up the valve, or the air vent I should say. And then you can go ahead and release the banjo fitting. Go ahead and take your cap, pop the cap in there. Take out this little elbow. Now this is just gray water. So if you were going to be using black water, I'd suggest rinsing this stuff out just a little bit more, but it's basically soapy water right now, so that's why I'm not doing an additional rinse. And close that guy back. So now you have a couple options. Don't forget your 5-gallon bucket. So go ahead and put that in there. The 5-gallon bucket really helps, especially if you're in an SUV. You don't have to have all those hoses exposing the inside of your SUV to stuff. I just lifted the tank up and put it in my truck, just like so. Or you can tow it back, whatever you want to do. Hope that was helpful. Like and subscribe if you can, if you would. I really appreciate that. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions on other ways to do it, hit me up down in the comments. Talk to y'all later.